This will be the tryout for my Necrophage guide, like full 30 years playthrough. Usually I start with the discussion of the build, so for Technonecro, as you can see the name of the Empire, the main part of the build is Technocracy, and must have the crafters as usual. This civic is just too good to not to go past it. However, you can swap it with functional architecture or something else, but this build works perfect with masterful crafters and technocracy. Xenophobe, militarist and materialist. Xenophobe to have the ability to have slaves, obviously, and to get the better conquest on enemy empires once you get those, and to get additional pop growth speed, obviously. Also, it's quite easy to please the Xenophobe faction, so it kinda works like as well for the build. Materialists, like for the obvious reasons you need materialists to have technocracy, and militarist, well, there is only one build that works without militarist out of those that can afford. I'm not speaking about Inval Perfection, but that's only clones, but clones are limited in our games, like in multiplayer games, because militarist clones are a little bit too like have too high overpower, that's why they're limited. Militarist is an obvious choice. For your main species, Lithoids is the best case scenario, because first of all, well, basically your leaders are immortal. Stellaris lobbies do not last as long as your leaders will live. On top of that, better habitability on your guaranteed worlds, better habitability on the worlds of the conquered empires, if you have some. On top of that, stronger armies, which is quite important early on, because in order to conquer the primitive world, you need to build 4 empires instead of 5. If you were running the bio Necrophage, not the Lithoid one. What else? You also have the access to excavating 4 Lithoid blockers in the capital. If you're lucky with minerals in space on your planets, that is also quite well. That's just for pops. Yeah, they do not come for free, but still. For trades for your Necrophages, Lithoid species, I highly recommend that you choose intelligent, natural engineers, and charismatic. Charismatic can be swapped for something else, but I kinda prefer charismatic. All the amenities, like you'll have your Necrophages will work as leaders and like partially as scientists a little bit, and with technocracy, your like admins, your rulers on the planets, part of them will be science directors. So intelligent and natural engineer just boosts this, and charismatic gives you more amenities. Unruly is like a must-have, especially assuming the fact you'll not have a lot of those. And decadent, like work happiness, life happiness, you will not have any workers unless you conquer a hive mind and purge the pops, necro-purge the pops. But if you have a full conquest, that's not that big of a deal, like frankly speaking. On top of that, you can always swap your pops. Let's say you'll have a capital with your prepared species working as researchers, because you will run out of your Necrophage pops, so you can always resettle those to your main planet where you're producing science, and use Necrophages especially, so that's not a big of a deal. When we're speaking about prepared species, the obvious choice for traits is extremely adaptive. Since in the multiplayer rules, if you're playing Necrophages as one of the top tier bio origins, you're either allowed to pick the must-have crafters or aquatic trait. I think that aquatic trait for your prepared species is not as important as masterful crafters for your empire, but that's an alternative. However, I prefer to go with masterful crafters and extremely adaptive and rapid breeders for obvious reasons. You don't need any buffs to your science production, because, well, technically you can use this, but the majority of your prepared species pops will be working as just workers. So and also you will be just growing them. Your Necrophages will not be growing. That's why rapid breeders and extremely adaptive not only allows you to have 100% habitability in your guarantees, it also allows you to colonize one of the planets if you have any spare in your territory, and use it as a breeder, as like to get additional pops. Fleeting, like you will not have any leaders from those pops. Slow learners, basically these 2 picks are just free picks. Unruly, well, that's like the usual go-to. If you really do not like Unruly, you can genie mod it later, but it aligns pretty well. Naming class, cold worlds, because technically you kinda need minerals, and cold worlds provide you with the highest like chance of getting more mineral districts. The NEP system, as always, because the NEP system guarantees that your home world will have 20 size. I mean, apart from that, that's just the usual Empire, the usual Technonecro. There is another Necrophage that can be played with Master of Crafters, Technocracy, and Spiritualist, but it's not the topic of today's video. Well, I guess that's it for the like overall description of the build. Oh yeah, I didn't go through like positive sides of Necrophages and their weak sides. So Necrophage is one of the top builds right now. There are a lot of players running Necrophages, and I just took place number 2 in Aggressors tournament using Necrophage. Necrophages are strong, they have a lot of science, because, well, technically right now Necrophages is one, I guess it's the only build, maybe only clones can have a run with Technocracy, but Necros is the only bio build that can reliably use Technocracy. And actually Necrophages have a lot of science, especially if you have some anomalies in your territory, you'll get a lot of science. Necrophages are just absolutely bonkers with science. On top of that, you haven't built slavery, so you save a lot of consumer goods, especially after you swap from the production of alloys, so you can do the swap earlier, once you get like 8 to 9k of consumer goods. Necrophages, well, they have a lot of pops, and the economic power is just superb, because basically, if you never played with Necrophages, your guaranteed worlds are primitive worlds, but keep in mind that I'll be playing on the balanced multiplayer mod. In vanilla, Necrophages can have from 4, like there are like 3 cases for your primitive worlds. Your primitive world will either have like 4 pops, 8 pops, or 9 pops, and that's random. So there is a chance you get 4 and 4 pops as your primitives, and that's a bad roll. But there is a chance you'll get like 8 plus 8, or like 9 plus 9 in the best case scenario, and that's like, I mean, well, getting 18 pops so early is absolutely nuts. However, this random part of Necrophages that you have to literally just throw a coin, toss a coin and hope that you'll get better rolls, or at least you will not get wrecked by random. We didn't like it, and in the mod we changed it, so you're always guaranteed to have 8 plus 4. It kind of balances Necrophages, because Necro with 4 and 4 pops and Necro with 9 plus 9 are kind of 2 different Necros. And here you have a stable Necrophage that obviously is strong. I would say that Technonecro is literally at the top of the builds, however, there are other builds that can compete with it. So in balanced multiplayer mode I'll have 4 plus 8 primitives. Weaknesses? Well, I think that Technonecro and Necrophages in general is, like, this build is one of the toughest. There is a lot of micro involved, and you do not have the luxury of having unity from factions, because the amount of pops that can actually enter factions is really low, so you're limited by unity, and the amount of micro is quite intensive. On top of that, there is such stuff as slave uprisings. It's quite random. You can prevent it by not going lower than 40%, but still, there is still a chance that something can go wrong. And actually in the tournament I played, I literally got -20 stability and slave uprising on one of my planets almost immediately, because it's random. The mean time to happening is like 5 years, I guess, or 10 years, but it can happen like the first month you conquer primitives. On top of that, the conquest of the other empires is really easy, but at the same time, if you conquer a lot of planets, there is a chance you will just run out of Necrophages, so you have to keep in mind it's somewhat comparable to playing Syncretic Evolution. However, Syncretic is different in terms of you have to balance the ratio of your specialist, your main species, and your syncretic species. And here you breed only one type of pops, because Necrophages basically do not grow due to their, well, first of all, they are lithoids, they don't grow, and Necrophages have -75% pop growth speed, so basically they're like, if Necrophages start growing your planets, then there is something wrong, definitely wrong. That's why at all times, except for like, yeah, I guess there is no exceptions. If Necrophages, like, as a rule of thumb, if Necrophages are growing on your planet, then something is wrong, so you have to fix it. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm playing Oligarchic, because, well, Factions Unity again is not that that much of a deal. However, the ability to get additional, like the agenda of your ruler is worth it. And yeah, here it is. This is like the overall talk about the build. And let's start it. I'll be playing on 0.75 tech tradition cost, 0.75 capital worlds, no primitives, obviously. One of the main reasons primitive civilizations are off is that imagine if the Necrophage get 3 prims. Necrophages are already like the best type of the empire to deal with primitives and to incorporate primitive worlds into their territory. Imagine if you give them like another primitive world. That's not that great of a deal for the empires that are not lucky enough. However, primitives change the balance quite a lot, regardless if they get like consumed by the Necrophage or any other buyer build. It's still a big boost. Logistics grows 1.6, gross required 0.1. This is the settings we have been playing recently in multiplayer, and actually 1.6 compared to 175 we have been playing previously kinda nerfs Necrophages, because Necrophages, like Necros, is the empire that gets to the logistics growth bonuses, one of the fastest, because you get the like planets ready to get the logistics bonus. Usually you get the bonus around 12 to 13 pops, if I remember it correctly. And with Necrophages, basically once you land the primitives, there are 8 on the biggest planets, you add 2 of your own pops, you already have 10. So the amount of time you have to wait until you get 2 additional pops and start getting bonuses from logistics is really low. Well, I guess that is it. Hopefully this time I'm not as serious or my voice is not as stiff as in the previous guides. If you like the content so far, please leave a like and comment if you have a different approach. If you don't like the comment, make sure to leave a dislike and click twice to make sure it works. And let's start the gameplay. And yeah, one small change. I enabled the Iron Man mode to make sure that I will not be safe scamming and doing anything. I never do it in the guides, but you know, to make sure. Play. The game is not eligible for the whatever. For the achievements, because I'm running the balanced multiplayer mode and it changes the checksum. Alright, we arrived at the first screen. Picking the advisor is not the most important part, but let's go for the primitive. I just adore it. Alright, start of the game. Usually it starts on slowest, but since I will be talking, I will keep paused. The first thing you do, you actually destroy the chamber of elevation. You don't need it. Why so? You need those pops to be working somewhere at your economy. Unemploy one of the jobs in clerks and put the icon here, like put the emphasis on the jobs, prioritize those. Then policies, isolationist, and economic policy, civilian economy. Destroy the unused buildings on your starbase. Strip your ships. Like everything, like these other small things that you're doing are the same for all empires, but the destruction of the necro chamber, whatever it's called, chamber of elevation, is a bit different. Also, make sure to prioritize clerks and have five necros here at the moment. Then you'll lower the amount of clerks down. You need 4 clerks, being necrophages, to resettle them to a primitive world. That's why it is so important to actually prioritize the jobs of clerks, so you have necrophages on those jobs. And on top of that, one of the reasons why charismatic is so good in necrophages is that the AI automatically prioritizes them because they produce more amenities. That's why you have clerks here instead of your prepared species. Checking your leader is always a good scientific leap. Well, that's great. Also happiness. Any happiness buffs are great because they increase the stability in the primitive worlds. Apart from this, start buying 52 minerals, like as for any other empire type, and sell a first food. You don't actually need it. Then picking the research. That's actually that's quite straightforward. I mean, usually I go for science. If I have the hydroponics base here, then maybe going for hydroponics base is a good idea as well, because you'll get those quite fast, and you will need it. You'll have like the limited amount of pops on the jobs on your planet, but that's fine. Like going for full Going for full science is okay as well. Okay, let's start. Actually, I can start on the normal speed. Our fleets have been stripped from alloys, so that's fine. The first building you get is the mineral district. And you'll be able to start building it quite soon. On the second month, we increase the amount of, like we put food to the market to not have the negative amount of energy. Okay, that's great. So mineral district first, and then I start building in space. You have like 3 minerals right now, 3 in terms of not used anywhere, and let's start getting benefits from the star-based constructions faster. After you order one of the like mining stations in your capital, it's time to start building armies. Oh wait, no, I made a mistake. Okay, I made a mistake. I will suffice for it because I have been talking previously. Actually, I didn't send a science ship, right? But I will keep this part. I'll keep this part of the recording because maybe it makes it more organic. And on top of that, I'll show another trick. When you click like how to search for your primitive worlds on the big map, you don't see planets of primitives on the big map. However, if you like choose your construction ship and right click, you'll see build observation posts. It means there is a primitive world here and another one is here. In the balanced multiplayer modes, your guaranteed worlds spawn, first one spawns like 1 jump away and second spawns from 1 to 2 jumps away. I was kind of lucky that both of my primitives spawned 1 jump away. That's why I can actually check, go to the system, check the amount of pops. 4 pops, that's the smaller primitive world. And another one, 8. Okay, actually that's a big planet called 24 size. That is great. You can also check the the traits on the species, but for the most part it doesn't matter. Alright, so I'm sending my science ship a little bit late. So technically I do not need to order the assault armies too early, since the later you survey the system, the later you will need your armies. Right, I fixed my mistake. Hopefully it will not be that big of a deal for my fleets. Year 30, however, that's already a mistake. Keep that in mind. I had to do this, what I just did earlier, and send my science ship to survey the systems, obviously. Alright. I keep checking for the governor, like the best case scenario is having the architectural interest or architectural sense governor. Once the first thing is done here, I'm going for another one. Where is it? Another space mining facility. In the first game, my first primitives have been found, obviously. Well, technically I have seen them already, but right, I just had an announcement. Probably I'll make the settings and the sound of my advisor a little bit lower, because this monkey is a little bit too loud. God damn it. Right. So far, so good. Everything is great. Everything is going according to the plan. We must ward off those who may endanger us. At this point, once this district is done, you can unemploy one of the clerks here and also one of the farmers. You'll put back the job once you have pops for that. Then the next building is research lab. Also, if you're running a little bit low on food, you can just do this. And from now on, just keep building assault armies. And that is it. Also, in order to prepare for your conquest, go to the species, set default rights, and make sure that you have the default rights of your species on domestic servitude. Not endangered servitude, but on domestic servitude. This is really important. Okay, I'll restart this prosperity. It's really important to have domestic servitude since... okay, let's talk about it. Since once you conquer your primitive worlds, you'll have a lot of unemployment there. And domestic servitude basically allows those pops to work as servants and thus relieving you from stress of building jobs fast enough and also boosting the stability on the primitive world, so you will have less risks. You will bear less risks of having an uprising or some negative events on that planet. Okay, that was done. I'm building the armies. Make sure to build Necrophage armies. They have plus 100 health, as you can see in the tooltip. You need 4 armies to make sure, like, there are rare conditions when the army strength here is higher. Let's say these pops are lithoids, their armies will be stronger. Let's say these pops have this Throne trait or Resilient trait. This will also boost the garrison of these armies. If you check it and see like 100 strength, make sure to build 5 armies. That's a really rare situation, however it happens. So do not just blindly build 4 armies, drop it and then see that your armies were defeated by some cavemen. That is, like, after that, it's really hard to keep your composure. Speaking about the governor, I'm about to get one. I have already checked the leaders and saw that there is a architectural interest governor. That is just absolutely great. Since you will be building a lot with necrophages, I would say that in the early game you build more than with other builds, because you get 2 planets super early, and the earlier you get the architectural interest governor, the better for you, and you will basically save more resources. At this point you have 300 consumer goods, and usually I prefer to just distribute luxury goods here. You'll need it anyway. So, and once you start resettling clerks, aka your necrophages from your main planet, you will get issues with the amount of amenities you get. This helps a lot. So, like, prevent this from happening. Once I have 4, yes, okay, I have 4 armies. That's why I send my construction ship. Okay, system research, thank you very much, Mr. Monkey. Or Miss Monkey, I don't know. Right now, I have these pops at chattel slavery, I mean my prepared species. So what I do, I employ one of the food producing drones to jump here. One of the necrophages dropped to the, like, jumped to the research job, and also I employ one of the metallurgist jobs. In the prosperity tree, we always get standard construction templates. That's kind of like an obvious choice. Here, start building the system. That's like self-explanatory. Research labs first, right? Also, a side note: it's really important to get your precursor events, like precursor minor artifacts, because the economy of necrophages early on is so tight. Like, once I start building, you'll see it. I'm already running really low on almost everything, like in every department. That's why you'll have to navigate it. Like, if I got minor artifacts right away, it would be way easier for me, especially if I got like 5 minor artifacts. It's basically 2.5k of energy that is waiting to get used to build minerals, like resettle pops and do all kinds of good stuff. However, it's not the case. I'll start building in space right away and drop my armies. Keep in mind that we changed the default rights, so you must only drop once you have domestic servitude. I'm kinda late with this. I'm kinda late with the conquest of this planet. Usually, I don't have 100 consumer goods, and I have to buy a little bit of consumer goods off the market to get the decision on the planet. But make sure to get the, like, distribute luxury goods decision on the planet before you start resettling your pops. Because if you resettle 2 necrophage pops here, you'll get it to 10 pops, and you'll have to use 200 consumer goods. So basically, doing the right sequence, like first consumer goods decision, then resettling, will save you 100 consumer goods. Yeah, that's not that big of a deal. However, you know, there are no limits for min-max and Stellaris, and you gotta min-max those, like every possible bit of it. What do we have here? Okay, the primitives are subjugated. Luxury goods. We're resettling 2 clerks. 1, 2. Immediately I go to my clerks here, unemployed, like do 2 less jobs, because I got my prepared species there. Also, another important part is go to your species, your, like, necrophage species, and do the academic privilege. And look at the stability now. 46% on your newly captured world. Academic privilege is absolutely incredible. Okay, another point. Once you build the, like, second research lab, make sure to go to species, to your prepared species, and put them to indentured servitude. Now your species, your prepared species, can actually work as, like, specialists. And always keep in mind that you do not actually need a lot of farmers early. You just, like, the best case scenario is just having enough farmers to sustain your like to sustain your economy. So at any given moment, it's better to put your farmers to the production of energy actually. So unemploying the amount of jobs, that is exactly enough to get the maximum amount of technicians. Okay, the first part was done. Industrial district. So basically mineral district, 2 research labs, and industrial district. Why? Basically at this point you need to get additional building slot, an additional building slot for your research labs. You can build one city district instead, or you can rebuild one of the commercial zones. However, you're running low on consumer goods, so it's better to get another pop producing consumer goods and then start building your the bigger amounts of research labs. Alright, we got 2 minor artifacts, finally, thanks God. Thank you, the game's random. Now we can actually start buying more minerals. I mean, yes, minerals, and buy a little bit of consumer goods, because we're running low. Since I got the hydroponics farms, I can start upgrading my star bases, and to be honest, I would do this regardless, because you get some trade value from the pops, and you'll get even more once you start building industrial districts and filling up those artisans jobs, pardon me. Wait, or actually crafters. Artificers, yeah, artificers, alright. Actually, feel free to change the designation to factory world, because you will need to order quite a lot of industrial districts, and the faster you build those, the better. The planning capacity is so large, like 90 planning capacity. I can freely just queue up some industrial districts, and that will not change anything in terms of the growth of my pops. It will not negatively affect it. That's why I'm doing it so free. Alright, this last primitive world system has been surveyed. I set my ship to automatic surveying to not care about it at all. For now, my goal is to get my second primitive world. Continuously produce industrial districts on my first primitive world, which is like the biggest one, and that's why I'm using it for my industrial production. And keep increasing the amount of research labs on my capital. Basically, that's it. If running really low on economy, and let's say you do not have additional minerals in space, or you didn't get the minor artifacts, the way to also kind of help your economy is to unemploy one of the metallurgists, so you have no metallurgists at all, and this way you can just like spare some minerals and some pops to work at other departments like mines or like technician jobs. Once this like third industrial district was done, now you actually can see that you do not need these consumer goods. You have a fair amount, that is fine. I can disable commercial zones right now because I do not need those. I'll have 3 jobs anyway. That's 2 energy, but you know, I'm no min maxer, but 2 energy is 2 energy. Well, technically I'm min maxer, so I'm a lion. Anyway, farmers, like anomalies. If you find any anomalies, just make sure to postpone the research of those. I'm running so late on this primitive world because I'm talking about it, but hopefully I'll still be able to show some results. Keep in mind that the best case scenario is to do it first of all, send your science ship right away, and once you have done it, send it to other system. Once this construction ship arrives, it must start the build-up, not like I'm doing it right here. The army shall be queued up, so it's just waiting in the orbit of the planet and so on. But I'm doing this live, so technically that's a guide, but at the same time it's just a playthrough with some mistakes maybe, but at the same time it might make it look more organic. Okay, let's build everything here. That is the idea. I have ordered hydroponic base, so that will help me as well. Now I will drop with my food production, because some of the pops will take the jobs here at the research department. Okay, so now my #1 priority is fixing these planets. I mean, taking care of this planet. That is why, if you don't have a lot of energy, you can just resettle one pop, like one Necrophage to this planet, and that will be enough to keep the stability high. Undeploy one of the jobs once again to not get any prepared species. Now you can delete the armies. That's like 4 energy per month. That can be saved. Make sure to keep ordering research labs here. on your first consumer goods planet, let's call it CG1 to make it easier to remember, you need 3 industrial districts and a luxury residence to be queued up at all times. Let's check this planet. The best case scenario is when this planet has a lot of mineral districts. This planet, okay, I'll pause it just to talk about it. This planet does not have a lot of mineral districts, but it has quite a fair amount of energy districts. I mean, anything above 5 or 6 is enough, good enough. So you check it. I check my capital. I say that I have a lot of mineral districts here. It means that I can make this planet to specialize this planet on the production of science and minerals. And this colony will be producing energy. This colony will be used for consumer goods and then for the swap into the alloys. It means that if I have some spare minerals, usually you're running quite low on minerals, but since I was kind of slow with doing all the stuff I was doing the right way, I have quite a stockpile, so I can actually afford to build additional generator districts right here to employ some of the currently unemployed servants. So basically that's, yeah, you just make a decision. If you have 6 districts here, let's say your capital has only 6 districts of minerals, right? And a lot of energy districts. And you have this planet as well. It means that you will have to specialize your capital anyway, because you need at least 6 districts in minerals. Even though this planet, like this capital, will look like it's better to have it to be producing energy, it's not the case, because the bare minimum amount of districts to like fuel the economy will be 6, and you'll be lacking minerals if you decide to make this world your mineral production facility. Alright, let's go on. The science ship is doing its stuff. Let me drink a little bit of water. So I'm not sounding like I'm too serious. Actually, I'm not that serious right now. I mean, at least I try to make my voice not sound too much serious. However, it kind of cracks when I talk a lot, and I talk a lot right now, so pardon me if that sounds a little bit alien or something. Not like I usually do on the streams. Okay, we're just going through the prosperity tree. I'm fixing my trades if I see that something is going wrong or I'm just running low on some resources. Industrial districts are being built here. Once I have 3 districts, make sure to go check which pops you are growing here. Ryan, and then once the time is up, I just go and I will change the slavery type to indentured servitude, so these pops can actually start working as specialists. Alright. This is fine as well. There is another note that actually around this time or a little bit earlier, it's quite okay to get an additional pop by fixing your sprawling slums. I didn't do it earlier. It's easier and better to do it before the build-up of the first industrial district. However, I didn't get minor artifacts. That's why I had to postpone it. Now I have quite a lot of energy and I was able to do it. Basically, this pop will just take one of the jobs, the technicians, and that will be it. To finish the build-up or to finish the fixing of this conquered primitive world, make sure to resettle your last necrophage pop. Unemployed, you will not need clerks anymore because you have distributed luxury goods previously. So you will not need any clerks, and from now on you do the stuff that is usually done. You alternate between building city districts and research labs. That's quite straightforward. There is nothing to it. Unfortunately, this time my scientists are not that great. However, I'll start getting some of those. Yeah, I have 100 unity. That is nice. Let's get the computing expertise. Computing expertise scientist is always nice to have, and actually particles expertise as well. So I'll get it. I'll grab it a little bit later. Alright, it's time to re-yan. Okay, now these pops will get indentured servitudes and social welfare to make sure that stability is kind of high. However, you see 39%. This is still like the danger zone. This is still the danger zone. Anything below 40% can lead to some dire consequences. That is why, as for now, I'm building luxury residences. It will boost the stability to above, like to 40 or above. Actually, like this ruler trades, champion of the people, helps me with the stability. However, I do it anyway, like in any type of situation. Alright. Alright. Shall I get the expertise particles? I guess I'll do it, yeah. Let's go for it. It doesn't matter that I'll put it to the engineering. It's better to have some expertise scientist leveling up instead of some useless scientist, so that's okay for me. Right, and I'll just continue building industrial districts. As you can see, 43% stability, so there is no chance that this planet will uprise. There is another, like, as you can see, there are a lot of details to necrophages, right? It's only year 7, but, like, there are a lot of tricks and stuff you have to do, and there are more to come. So, these dudes, like, there is a random that is tied up to the primitives. You can never control your primitives. You can be either super lucky with the primitives, like sometimes you get adaptive and rapid breeders. That is great. Sometimes you get lithoids. They grow really slow. That's why you have to resettle your preparing species to these planets and make sure that you have, like let's say this Rien species are super bad in terms of pop growth, right? Let's say that they are non-adaptive and slow breeders. This is the worst case scenario. So in this case, what do I do, or what you do, or what I recommend you do? Resettle one of the preparing species, make sure that you have it on these planets, and go to species, set rights for this. Like, let's say this is the slow breeding species, and population controls, you enable population controls, but make sure to do it once this this graph is done and a new species, like a new pop starts growing. If I do it right now, I will just lose all the progress because it will just reset. So you wait until it's done, the new pop starts growing, and then you do it. So if you have the preparing species here, like from like your empire, this Storm Rider, I don't know where this name comes from, but I kind of like it regardless. And then this pop starts growing here, and like you have the maximum amount of growth speed on all your primitive planets. Since there are no glaring issues as for now, well, actually I was lucky. I have ingenious dudes here, so sometimes it just aligns so well. I decided to start like building generator districts on these planets, and actually these pops are ingenious, so that's 15% more, and they're producing like 6 energy for the primitive world with like literally like 43 stability and under the stellar culture shock, that's quite a lot. So yeah, this is the trick that can be done. However, since there are no glaring issues with my primitive pops, that's like, I'm kind of chilling. And make sure that you are buying 52 minerals at all times. At the same time, because eventually you will run out of minerals anyway. It always happens. Earlier or later. Well, unless you have really good space, then in this case it will not happen, but it's better to have a stockpile of minerals at all times. Also this one, make sure to get planetary unification technology as like before you get the access to tier 2 technologies, because this is not the prosperous unification. You will not have this planetary unification tech unlocked in society at all times, so it's better to grab it once you see it. Maybe not at the first tech, but as one of the earlier technologies in the society tree. The only technologies I will get before that is like either like 3 of these techs. Basically, I was lucky to get these 3 technologies early. All right. Also, make sure that like the early game scenario, the early game the goal is to get 3 star bases with hydroponics base. That will be enough to feed your population. In terms of science, I'm doing quite well. Like, even though I didn't do everything as good as I could, or like as clean as I could, having 300 science here is 7. I mean, well, it's not too bad, right? Especially assuming the fact that you have an additional research alternative and everything's going quite smooth. So yeah, I'm just building up. When I have any spare minerals, I put them into the like 2nd primitive colony, but number 1 priority must be my capital. I have to be building like research labs and city districts here at all times, and my like secondary primitive world. Yeah, industrial districts, like throw in some luxury residence as well, and you shall be fine actually. Usually I do 3 industrial, 1 luxury, 2 industrial, 1 luxury, and around this time I prefer to resettle one of the pops, like one of my prepared species, to the primitive world. So when this bar finishes and there is a new pop that is about to start growing, you have your basically your prepared species pops growing on that primitive world. Alright, as I said, continuous production of city districts. On the plane of farmers, actually at this point you can just demolish this. You don't need food districts on your planets at all, but though, I mean, that's not that big of a deal, but min-max is min-max. Also, keeping the empire size as low as possible is also a good approach, like a good idea. And yeah, once you see that you're running out of one of the resources, just like of the energy usually, because you're buying minerals, make sure to put the max buy price at 1 or just lower the amount of minerals you're buying, so you're getting more minerals at all times. More than you're just producing, I mean. Okay, let's order another luxury residences here, and let's start the resettlement process. I'll be making like minerals in this world. That is why I'm resettling. That's why I'm resettling technicians. I'm waiting until that pop spawns, and that'll be it. Usually you finish your prosperity tree around like year. What is that? Around year like 10, I guess. 10. Starting like year 11. Yeah, I'm in a good course actually. And once you finish prosperity tree, our first perk is executive figure, then 2 edicts, and the sky's the limit. Economy starts flourishing right there. I have quite a lot of energy going on right now, like that's why I can increase the amount of minerals I'm buying. Alright, so I'm waiting, I'm patiently waiting. Okay, this pop has done it. Put into the clerk. I make sure that stability is 40%, so that is fine. Now I go to the species. Like, this will actually displease the pops. These re-yen pops, right? Let me check the stability here. That is still a risk, and that is why I'm building another luxury residences, but we'll see. That's, I guess, that risk is worth taking. Hopefully that will be fine, and I'll not have an uprising, because if I have a uprising, that will be absolutely nasty. I'll talk a little bit later. Well, not while later, while postponed it. So technically, if I didn't resettle this pop, even if I had a like slave uprising, hopefully I will not have it, because it's not a pre-recorded. Like, I'm just playing it right now, and there is a small chance because it's certain instability, right? So let's say there is no this pop here, and Rien's pops keep growing. An easy fix, if -20% -20 stability event happens, is just to assign the where is it? Blah blah blah. Is that right? Residence. I assign residence to my like all Rien pops. There is no slave labor on the planet, and the modifier just gets deleted immediately. However, if you're running with residency, your pops will be not as happy. They will be using more consumer goods. Like, it's better to have them as slaves, you know? The world of Stellaris is kinda harsh. However, now I have 2 pops, and if I want to get rid of like slave labor on the planet, I'll have to either resettle this pop, which is not possible because the planet has still a culture shock, or I'll have to go for residence for both species, and that will be kinda not pleasant at all. Well, I was lucky. I didn't get the slave uprising, so I got 2 additional luxury. I got 2 luxury residences in total, which boost the amenities on the planet, and we're good to go. All right. The plan is quite straightforward. As you can see, I'm kinda out of my stockpile of minerals, even though it looked so good previously. Well, that's unfortunate, but it was expected. So that's okay. And I'm just waiting for the prosperity tree finish. Not only I'll get additional stability on the planet, but I will also get the access to edicts, because I'll get the Ascension perk, and as we previously talked about it, Executive Vigor is the way to go. There is another implication. I mean, there is another benefit of finishing prosperity tree. I will have some unity after that, because I want to rush prosperity and get edicts. Once it's done, I'll go for the crime lord deal on the planet. It's a risk, but that's a risk that is worth taking, and it will increase the stability and the amount of stuff the planet is producing. But I cannot do it before finishing prosperity tree, because I kind of want to get the executive degree as soon as possible. Maybe maybe it's worth it to actually get the crime lord deal here faster, to make sure you will not be getting in the situations where it's possible that you will get a revolt or like save uprising. There are a lot of necrophage players, and there are a lot of ways of playing necrophages. So keep in mind that's my personal preference, and I did not do all the math. Though maybe there is a more optimal way to do it. However, this is one of the ways that will guarantee some good results anyway, and that's why I'm showing it. So make sure to if you have some different approach, make sure to share this in comments, or make sure to message me on ISS Discord. I'm always actually I learned a lot of stuff about necrophages from other players such as Momonga. Mainly it was Momonga and Hattori Hanzo. I checked their replays, how they're doing it, and replicated some of the ideas, tried something. They every necrophage player has some ideas or approaches they're doing differently compared to other players. So that's totally fine if the build is a little bit different to the build you're used to, or you think that is optimal. I guess in the end, it's better to have different approaches so we can actually check and decide which one is the best. So that's for the greater good of everyone. Right, here on this planet, city districts, research labs as usual. Here, some industrial districts, and if I see that I have enough jobs for my growing pops, then I throw in luxury residences here and there. On this planet, however, it would be nice to resettle one of the pops to get this planet to 10 pops. Right? Do the same stuff I was doing with the... I'm kinda late, right? You see that 31 growth progress, that's not the best case scenario to stop the breeding process of the species on the planet, but I'll do it anyway. Alright, chemical plants. I was lucky to get this. Chemical plants as the first technology, even while I was using computing expertise, I kind of forgot about it, because it's really hard to remember everything you need to talk about. Also forgot to enable edicts. Now you will see. Now my economy will kind of prosper, or it has to prosper, or I hope it will. It will be easier for me to actually buy more minerals, right? Oh wait, no, it will not be easier, but I'll be making more minerals by just producing on my planets. It would be also nice to build another energy district, generator district here on this third world, but I mean, I decided to put my minerals in different investment area, building more tech labs. At this point of time, if your economy is really good, you can start putting some pops to the production of alloys, so you can afford more star bases, especially if you have the charismatic leader, right? Because you'll be able to enable another edict. And another case is if you got the edict funds early on, so you'll be able to afford another edict, which is fortify the border. So technically you'll be having... Wait, what? Yikes. Okay, we need to fix this in the mods. Even in balanced multiplayer mod, look at this. I have another primitives. Yeah, what are the chances I get random primitives in balanced multiplayer mod while doing the guide for necrophages? Holy moly. Okay, you can... Alright, I swear I didn't check this map. This is literal... I'm playing it a literal live when I'm doing this. I swear I didn't pre-med it. It's not staged, right? These are not paid actors. I just have this soul. 10 pops waiting for you. And you have the best tools to actually fix the planet, right? You have academic privilege of your main species, which boosts the stability incredibly. You have necrophages. You can put them to full slavery right from start. Alright, okay. Obviously, I will not be taking this system because it will be broken. Yikes. And yeah, by the way, it's year 11. Since I have built the majority of buildings, well, technically I can just order some another one. I can start looking for the intellectual governor and crime lord deal on this planet, right? Yeah, let's negotiate with crime lords. This will give me 10 stability. Let's go. And let's get the intellectual governor. I know that some of the players, like for instance Hattori Hanzo, they prefer to keep their architectural interest governors, and they just swap it between intellectual and architectural interest once they start building some buildings. However, usually they get additional administrative officers to fix the unity income and make sure that they will actually finish supremacy in time. I have a different preference. I just delete that leader, so I'm not paying 2 unity of upkeep. And if I'm lucky enough with the researchers here, if I get the colonial centralization like before year 15 or so, you'll have enough unity to finish supremacy by just having an additional administrator here, like politician, pardon me. And if you upgrade this like main building on your consumer good producing colony fast enough. Yeah, there are stars have to align a little bit, but there is a chance that you can actually save some pops and put them to the production of consumer goods or like any other resource type. If you get the research early enough. That only works if you get colonial centralization before year 16 maybe or so. Alright, we also got additional unity from the second primitive world, and since I have not maxed the amount of minerals I can buy, I guess that going for the additional energy grid here. So I need to go for additional energy generated district because I have clerics here and clerics are not that great. I even have a servant, which is obviously not that great at all. That's why I need some productive facilities. And unfortunately, I have kinda run out of minerals once again. I only have 38 from stations, even though I was kinda lucky already with my minerals from space. Like for instance, I got additional minerals here as well, as far as I recall, like some minerals here. Obviously, it's not the best case scenario. You can get some better results here. Usually, if you get improved production early, go for it. It's kinda worth it, especially with necrophages, because you have a lot of workers. Well, at least I will have a lot of workers in the nearest future. Now, when you're low on resources, when you're low on minerals, you can actually afford to check. Well, not afford. You can actually look at your systems and check what planets, what building is #1 priority. In this case, I can see that alright, I'll have enough jobs here. And my stability is great, so I do not need to invest anything into luxury residences. Here, well, I have 1 clerk. I can use it to actually produce energy instead, but I'm buying 42 minerals already, so I love science, then I can afford to get additional city district here, then build a research lab. Usually I stop when I build 9 research labs, so basically if I build a district right now, like city district right now, and then a research lab, it will mean that I will have finished the build-up of my researcher jobs here on my main planet, and I'll go for it. And also once my distribute luxury goods goes off, make sure to click on it here. But there is a trick. If the amount of pops here is 30, basically I pay 400, right? So what can I do? I just resettle one of the pops. And voila, 300 consumer goods for the same edict. Yeah, this will impact the amount of minerals I'm making, but that's not that big of a deal. I mean, at least I have saved quite a lot. I have saved quite a lot of consumer goods by doing this. Also, there is another trick. Well, not a trick, but another approach. I'm doing mining subsidies and capacity subsidies, or subsidies, I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. However, let's say my economy is not that great, or at least I'm really struggling with the build-up, like I have a lot of unemployed pops here or something's going wrong. Instead of any of these research labs, feel free to build the mineral purification plants that will definitely boost the amount of minerals you're making. If I had the mineral producing facility here, if there are a lot of mineral districts here, I would have not run into the issue I'm having right now with the quite a lot of amount of minerals, because if you're producing minerals here, you'll have the abundant amounts. Because I would be just building mineral districts here non-stop, have the mineral purification plants here, and that would align like perfectly. However, in this case, my planets are well built. I had the architectural governor from start, architectural interest governor. That's why I can afford to like postpone the build-up. The best case scenario, the way I do it usually, is if I get the colonial centralization technology early, I just build research labs, upgrade the main building, and then build the last building, which is usually either the mineral purification plants or the energy grid. Well, energy grid if I have generator districts here, and it's like the energy world, and minerals, well, for obvious reasons, if I'm doing, I mean, purification plants, if I'm doing minerals on this planet, and vice versa here. Alright, for now I'm just waiting, basically. Also, we're stockpiling consumer goods, so we're doing the usual stuff. Oh, strange asteroids. I guess it's worth taking. One of the benefits of like literally Russian 9 research labs here is that you can start doing anomalies, and anomalies boost your science quite a lot. Why? Well, like why doing anomalies after you get 9 labs? Basically, you hit like the ceiling of your science income. It can only get better if I get this like research, the science. Where is it? The science ship, and assign another leader. I'm really conservative with the amounts of unity I have spent on my scientists. I am not getting another one. I'm kind of waiting for the opportunity to get it better. Okay. Plasma thrower. I mean, there is another issue. Well, not the issue, but kind of. It's really like you will really like the numbers that you get if you do all the plus 20% researches early. However, it takes like, I do not remember the exact math, but it takes close to 15-20 years to pay for itself. Like, we can calculate it by the amount of like this 20% research, right? It will provide every of your researchers with the, how much is that? 0.8. Yeah, because the base is 4, so that's 0.8 of physics per month multiplied by the amount of researchers you have, plus you get additional output for your science directors. That's 1.2 per the amount of like directors, and then you multiply it by the research progress, like research speed. And once you have this number, let's say 20, right? You get 20 additional physics per month. You'll have to divide 4.5 by the amount of that physics, multiplied by like 1.24 for this. For this example, because I'm making, like I have the 24% research speed. That's why it takes close to 20 years, and if it's already year 12, so it will pay for itself around year 32, so it will be more beneficial for me to get it for my further progress. However, if I need to fight someone exactly year 30, it's better for me to get technologies that will provide me with the maximum power year 30, even though it will mean that I will lack some additional science points in the future. That's why I'm not going for 20%. I went for 20% research previously, because I didn't have like good alternatives. That tech rolls, like that one was the best tech roll I had, or tech alternative. Keep in mind, always build in the industrial districts, or trying to build once you have some free minerals for that. Alright, I guess since... Okay, I will not build the generator district here, because I need the mineral purification plants on my capital. I need more minerals, right? I'm starving. That's why I'm doing the mineral purification plants here, even though it will mean less science. However, at the same time, this one, plus 10%, since I got it early and I did not have a good like tech alternative. Yeah, actually this one is a great one, however, and this one is great too. However, if I get this improved production, I feel like going for it is worth it, even though in the long run, for the late game, like it's not beneficial at all. For the early game, it's kind of worth it, especially assuming the fact that, like, I have how much? 7, 9, I have literally 16 workers right now. It's not like with other bio builds where you have less workers. Necrophages have a ton of workers, and this 10% also applies to the production, so that's Gucci. The only stuff I wish I had better scientists, like a couple of Spark of Genius. Oh my. That's fine, I guess I'll be fine even without it. Thank you, Mr. Monkey. As you can see, my food is kind of low, but I have started the upgrade of the starbase, right? Yeah, I did. Yep. So I'll be able to build the hydroponics facility, farm, bay, whatever it is, and this will fix the consumption or the disparity between the consumption and the production. So that's fine. And this is the reason why I'm not ordering the science ship. I want to get the hydroponics base first, like ordered and queued up, and only after that I go for the science ship. And I'm kind of still hoping to get a scientist, like a useful scientist. Supremacy, year 13, that's quite late, but that's fine. I mean, that is kind of fine. But I'm starting to get a little bit nervous about the... Okay, never mind, colonial centralization. Even though this tech is great, 10% cloning, but colonial centralization is so important. I mean, it's not as important as it can be for, let's say, Teachers of the Shroud. Like, for Teachers of the Shroud, that technology is of utmost importance. Alright, also one of the micro tricks here, you see, like my Necrophages, my main species, those have additional intelligent, natural engineers traits, they are doing consumer goods on the planet here. How can I min-max it? I want them to get to the researcher jobs, so I just unemploy them. And once I employ the jobs back, since like the game decided that my Necrophage pops are better at making science, they will stay there and I'll get additional artisans on my consumer goods. I wonder if my voice is still too serious or not, huh? Okay, let's do some of these dudes. I mean, let's do the technology for the rare materials. However, I had crystals. Crystals open the path to the consumer goods building. That's why I'm doing the exotic gases instead. Okay, I have ordered this one. I will soon get the science ship, and I really want to get the good scientist. Please, game, like at least one. Come on. Well, my physics department is great, right? Like I basically have Einsteins here. Like they're doing all the stuff, but everything else is lacking. Like lacking real hard. Okay, whatever. I also kinda like... Oh no, I still cannot resettle. It's like 1 year. Okay, I'm pushing the amount of pops I have at the production of consumer goods, because I'm sitting at the civilian economy and I kinda need to produce as much consumer goods as possible in the short amount of time. So I will even resettle one of my miners to this planet, even though I kind of feel like I'm lacking minerals. I still prefer to like maximize the amount of consumer goods I make before I swap out, because the higher the stockpile you have, the longer you'll be able to live without the production. At the same time, you want to make sure that you do not have like the stockpile too high. Like for Necrophages, if you swap around here 15 or 16, if you have around 8 plus K consumer goods, that's fine, because the consumption is not that high, right? I'm consuming 70 right now. The majority, like, I save a lot, because if you compare my, like, these are like citizen species, 3.2 consumer goods per 1 pop, and with slaves you have 2.2. I save a ton. Hello, Mega Forges with particles expertise. Thank you so much, game. Okay, this is going well. Well, I mean, yeah, I didn't get great science, but do you actually need it? If you get all the tech rolls you need? I guess the game is confused, like, particles here, like what? What does he want from us? So that works in my favor. That is fine. Alright, let's max out the amount of minerals I'm buying. And yeah, let's have a stockpile. Wait a minute. I mean, alright, whatever. I'll wait, because I would love to cancel the chemical plants here to start the upgrade of planetary capital immediately, but I'm already researching the LA Mega Forges. It means that I can upgrade here as soon as possible. So it's beneficial for me to start the production of modes as soon as possible. And on top of that, I have a servant here, so I want to employ one of the pops to produce modes. And I'll just wait like 3 months. That will be fine. Yeah, 15. Technically, I can actually swap right away, but alright, I will not be gaming the system to get benefits. Alright, okay, this is okay. This is a good scientist, I like it. Let's start the assist research. And actually, right now, since I have the assist research on my capital, well, I don't have all the labs, but my science income is 570. That's a really nice number already. That's why I can start doing anomalies, and if I have any stored research on my anomalies, I'll be Gucci. Like, I will get quite a sufficient amount of stored research, especially if that's engineering. Look at my engineering, Jesus. It's absolutely broken. Well, not broken, but 230 at this point of time. That's great. As a rule of thumb, you can actually, like, when to swap from the consumer goods stockpiling. It's either early year 15, like mid year 15, if your enemy is super strong and you're afraid that you'll get outmassed, and that's the amount of alloys that player has will be too big for you, too high for you. Or like year 16, start of year 16, if that player is not as strong. Especially, like, I would say that 10k is the optimal amount. However, that's the optimal amount for other, let's say, prosperity or maybe Teachers of the Shroud. With the Necrophages, you can do it earlier. 10k is actually quite a lot. I could have done it earlier, but let's do it now. Policies, economic policy, militarized. Okay, this is the second part of our... We are nearing the second part of our development, where we started producing consumer goods. I mean, alloys, and look at this. Only minus 35. That's almost nothing at this point. Minus 35 consumer goods is, well, I mean, it's not that great, but that's not terrible. Like, at all. I'm putting the maximum amount of mineral producing workers here, because I already see some issues. I could have pushed, actually, you know what? I can push the amount of volatile modes I'm making instead of buying minerals, because I see that I have quite a stockpile right now. I'm buying modes, so I can start the upgrade of this forge here as soon as possible and start stockpiling. I still do have some issues. One of the issues I have is that my mineral income was not that great, but I got this advanced mineral purification. Advanced mineral purification is the must-have technology if... Well, in this case I have quite a lot of mineral districts, right? But this technology definitely increases the efficiency of your pops that they're producing minerals, so having it is great. I mean, I already had the... Okay, let's get 4,000 physics, parsley, whatever. I just started getting benefits from anomalies. I mean, this might be a mistake that I'm putting research labs here, right? Because I just used like 400 minerals, but I guess it will be fine because I will need to buy modes for quite some time anyway. This is one of the benefits of knowing how to navigate through the markets, because it's not like you're glued in to the amount of stuff you're buying. You can always change it to fit your needs and make sure that you get the amount of... Yeah, I'll get exactly, look, beautiful. Literally beautiful. At this point I can start buying less modes because I'm producing those and just get back to the mineral production. And that's it. Yeah, basically we're kind of well set. I didn't get excavations, but that is okay. I can use Fortify the Border to not get additional consumption. I mean the upkeep for my star bases. And from now on, well, since there are no good alternatives, I will be doing this, and also I have some stored research, right? Oh, yeah, I have some stored research, so this will be done fast, and I will cycle through the researches. So that's fine. But if I had, let's say, yellow computers, I would definitely go for yellow computers, or let's say for shield or something else. Because it's better, like, especially some of the fact that here is 17, that's definitely, I will definitely not have enough time to pay for that technology. I will continue building starports. Since, like, first of all, I have enough edicts to upkeep 5, but do not be shy and go for 5, or do not be shy and go for 7. 7 is okay, and 7 starbases will allow you to actually feed your population without any issues, and without the necessity to build any districts anywhere on your planets. Also, like, distributing luxury goods on the planets feels good. Tier 4 mineralization, that costs a lot. I will not go for it. However, I will try to upgrade my mineral purification plants on my capital as soon as possible. As it's possible. I can resettle some farmers here. I don't need farmers, like, I'm making quite a lot of food anyway. And I'll be pardon me. A sip of water. Damn, talking a lot is really hard. I'll not be getting this crystal system. I mean, not only it will interfere with my tech rolls, it will also provide me with additional resources. And I don't want that. I want to keep my run clean. Keeping my run clean would be even better if I had good scientists, but I just got 5.3k stored engineering research. Like, come on. It's so good. Having high science numbers is always great if you get stored research on your anomalies, because you get a lot of it, and it just propels your science further. Okay, basically we are set. Like, for the most part we are set. I got Doctrine Space Combat, like, Interstellar Fleet Additions, Colonial Centralization, Naval Capacity, Doctrine Space Combat, and the second tier of naval capacity. Like, this is the bare minimum of technologies you need to have for the Society tree and Retired Fleet Officer. Basically, that is it. I mean, like, I'm feeling okay. I just need to kind of push this planet. I need to push this planet to 25 pops, upgrade the main building, and I'll be able to make it. I will literally be able to make it. I mean, finish supremacy in time. That is it. Easy as that. Also, keep in mind, I didn't have any excavations, right? So if you get additional excavations, it will make your run even easier, because you will get minor artifacts that you can use for your advantage. Selling them, stockpiling energy, getting more minerals, buying more resources, like whatever you wish. The funniest part is actually that, I mean, we have this saying or meme that's actually the easiest way to get psionics is to play Technonecro, because the amount of time Technonecro gets Zroni event, I don't know, it feels rigged. Also, there is always a chance that one of your scientists gets the psionics expertise trait, so do not be too impressed or like shocked when your Technonecro neighbor all of a sudden ascends to psionics year 29, or just gets the first tier of it, obviously, because like getting all the psionics ascension is impossible in such a short amount of time. Well, I got cruisers as the second technology, and that's year 19. I mean, I got cruisers right after destroyers, that's why I go for cruisers, obviously. I mean, for the sake of getting the biggest fleet possible, I think that it would be easier for me to go for destroyers, because getting hulls for destroyers is easier than for cruisers for the most part. But I mean, let's keep it clean, and I'll try to play it like I would do it in multiplayer run. 22 pops here. Yellow computers, like the only problem I have right now is that I don't have reactors, but I'm hoping to get those later. Like, I hope to get those later. Like, yellow computers, like this run is so good because I got the stored research. Let me check my victory score. 445 before year 30. Well, it's not like broken, right? But it's really high. One of the reasons it's high that I was able to build my research labs in time, I got the intellectual governor in time, and I got anomalies. Anomalies boost you so hard. Look at the speed. Like 11 months for cruisers. Because 223 stored research, basically 50 43% research speed, and I get additional engineering 5k. Like, literally. This normally gave me cruisers. Like, the price of cruisers. Well, almost, right? But, I mean, anomalies can be broken. One may say that, like, come on, dude, like, Necrophage is absolutely busted. Yes, they are strong, but there are good runs and there are bad runs. It's not like you always have 30k of fleet or anything. And we'll see. There is a chance that my tech rolls won't be great later, right? Especially when it comes down to rolling some... weapon technologies. I'm doing it raw, so I will not be saving anything. Like, can I even save? No, I cannot. Yes, perfect. Please, game, do not crash, I beg you. Please, OBS, do not crash, I beg you. Please, the recording, do not crash, because otherwise that will be a hit. That will be a hit. Please do not tell me that... Okay, my leaders are intact. Leaders here are intact as well, thank you very much. Cruiser hulls. Okay, I guess that the universe decided to make sure that I show some numbers today. If I get, like, if after that I get kinetics tier 4, oh boy, I'll have some fleet powers. That's for sure, like, that will be guaranteed. Like, getting cruisers and then cruiser hulls, like, destroy a cruiser hull? I mean, I'm not against that. I'm not against getting such tech rolls in the single player, like, anytime. Oh, not single player, multiplayer, obviously, especially during the tournament or anything. However, like, I do realize that's a really lucky... Well, I mean, it's lucky, but with Technonecro you get +1 research alternative, and I was lucky. This is like, obviously, that I got +1 research alternative tech, so now I have 5 research alternatives, and that's why it's easier for me to roll some, like, valuable techs, which obviously, like, hull upgrades for destroyers. If you get 2 hull upgrades for your destroyers, or I mean for cruisers, oh boy, like, cruisers are almost invincible. You will not be losing them to the early game weapons. I guess even against plasma tier 3, cruisers die really hard. It's like die hard in real life. Literally die hard. They do not die because, well, I mean, the like, health points, the pool of hull points is so large that okay, I just lost my idea, and I hope that it will not ruin the entire cast. I'm doing the entire guides. The probability of getting the chance of disengaging is so high that they just survive. I mean, not the probability, it's the same, but the amount of rolls. Actually, like, you're limited by the amount of rolls. All the ships, it's really easy to max out the probability to get the disengagement. However, usually the bottleneck is not that probability, but the amount of rolls you have. And the more health points and hull points you have, the larger is the amount of rolls. And for cruisers, that's like, wow. Okay, let's get rid of FTL inhibition, because this technology has a high, like really high tech weight, and the earlier you get rid of it, the better. Okay. I will not have, like, in the previous video, in the previous guide, I made a mistake. I named my ships like Destroyer, Energy, and actually put kinetic weapons. Since I'm running this on the Iron Man, I will not have the luxury of going back and fixing it. That is why I'm kind of concerned. So I'll have to do everything perfectly from the first run. Hopefully that will be possible, right? Okay, so the chances I'll get the rare cruiser hull are kind of low. That's why I'm putting, like, something that is not from the engineering department to not increase the chances. Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? Game, are you kidding me? I mean, that is great for me, right? Faster cruisers build speed, like, what is what? Man, single player, okay, this is single player, right? The chances you will see this in multiplayer are so low. And this is not stage, once again, it's not rigged, right? I didn't pay to anyone, it's not modded, it's not the mod luck or anything. Like, that is not it, that's not the case, this is not why it's happening this way. but this is just... I mean, okay. What could have happened? There could have been some, like... Well, actually this research is so good, but I mean this one. The best case scenario for me is to get kinetics, because kinetics will provide me with the biggest fleet power, right? However, this one also kinda... will also lead to quite high fleet powers, because I'll get a discount, and the more discounts I have, the better. Plasma accelerators. Damn, I want to get this, but I need fusion power, I need these reactors. Cruisers with tier 1 reactor is so tragic. Can I even power up my weapons stuff? I can't even afford auxiliaries. I can't afford M-slot weapon because I guess it takes more, right? Okay, the monkey is so happy about that derelict ship. Oh, I can actually oh wait, no. Not for 2 auxiliaries, look. Yeah, I need reactors, and it was a good idea to pick those. This one is great as well. Okay. Food, I get enough foods. I'm making 150 LS right now. Right? What I need to do, I need to resettle 1 pop. And basically... If my space was luckier with minerals, like, it's not the worst case scenario, I have 43, right? But... I have 43 minerals from space, but let's say I had 80. I could have gone for the tier 2 alloy, like nano separators, and be making like, let's say 200 alloys easy. Like easy, like no sweats at all. That is why having some like minerals in the space is also quite important. Okay, 5 armor. No, I don't need armor here. I will also need energy in case I decide to... Wait, no. I also need energy in case I decide to upgrade my main weapons on my ships. If I get... Okay, if I get... Okay, whoa. Okay, let's get it. This must be it, right? This must be it. I really do hope I get kinetics right now. If I get kinetics, like, my run is superb. It would be superb even for multiplayer, like the tournament or whatever. It would be just great. Because kinetics, by far, is the technology that boosts the fleet powers the most. I kinda want to show off, right? At the same time, I mean, like, this situation is quite complicated. Okay, the game kinda saves me from this. I do not want to make Necros look too broken, because I do not consider them to be that broken. Obviously they're strong, and one may consider them to be broken, but unless you... or until you see their clones next to you, right? Teachers of the Shrouds, clones, even Prosperous Unification. If Prosperous Unification has the Force planets, then, like... even Prosperous Unification has quite high chances of getting high fleet numbers. Also keep in mind that, let's say clones, there's a chance that get psionics. If any of the builds that I mentioned about, well, technically Teachers of the Shroud do not need psionics because they have it in build, but if clones get psionics, like even clone descendant admirals with psionic trait, like Jesus, that's absolutely nasty. So, however, necrophages can be on the stronger side, and okay, this is the last chance. Let's try to roll it. Is there something else? Let's do robotic workers, because I don't actually need. I do not actually think that increased income from space will affect my empire anyway, like in any way, because I'm not getting a lot of it. Like, space income is kinda non-existent in this case. Okay, dudes. How much am I making here? 14.2. Well, that's not too bad, but you see, I have generator ward here, so I get 25% technician output. I'll be just saving minerals right now to upgrade this energy stuff. and start buying more minerals, and to make sure that I will be able to continuously build on my planets. And also I have to think about the army as well, because in order to fight other players and in order to conquer their worlds, you need to have armies. And if you do not have armies like exactly like on time, there are the chances that your enemies, if you won, okay, let's consider you won the space battle, right? If it takes you a lot of time to actually conquer planets and bring up the army, like assemble the army, the chances that your enemies will start building fortresses and... Okay, no luck, okay. I guess I'll be doing it just with base weapons, probably with plasma accelerators. A sip of water so my voice don't crack so hard. So the chances that your enemies will start building armies on the planets are higher the longer it takes for you to bring armies. So the best case scenario is like you waiting on the border, let's say this is a border of the enemy. You're waiting with your ships, with supremacy finished, hit and run activated, and with a 1k army, exactly like in December year 29. And once the peacetime is over, you just declare the war and just rush in. So your enemy has a lower time to react and to prepare, but it all depends. It kind of depends on the amount of stuff you have on your space minerals, right? On the distribution of districts. Sometimes you're unlucky, and this is the problem of Necros. This is one like this run is really good for me, right? I have how much? How many? 11. I have 11 mining districts in my capital. I have 8 generated districts at my colony. Sometimes you find yourself there are like 3 energy districts and like 2 mineral districts, and like, okay, what do I do with it? Well, you kind of still go for the energy if there are like 4 districts, but like sometimes you even have to produce both energy and minerals in the capital. That's the worst case scenario. Oh, advanced railguns, 21 months? I guess, okay, 21 months. So basically I will start the production of my cruisers late year 26. However, I have to keep in mind that I have the cruiser production speed increase, right? Let me actually check it. Ship designer, better reactors. My shields are suboptimal, to say the least, right? But, well, that's fine, I guess. There is also like, there is one problem with when you go for the Kreml deal on your LA producing facility. The issue is that, wait a minute. Crime 1? And I have non-forcers here, or what the? Wait. This is strange, okay, whatever. Okay, I shall not get distracted. The problem is that if you go for the crime lord deal, you cannot afford to produce any other types of, like, specialty jobs here. If I get syncretic crystal plants, I will have to choose one of the jobs. And that is why your rare resources must be done either on your capital or on your energy world. I have not been using this in the tournament, by the way. I have not been using it because I didn't know if it's considered an exploit like a BM move. Technically, I mean, you kind of pay for it, right? You cannot, like, I have 2 criminals right now because I mismanaged it. I had to build the jobs for those criminals in time. So I pay for it. I also pay with Unity. And Unity is a limited resource, especially with Technonecro, but I can see why some players may consider that this is not the way. Oh, I was wondering, how do I have no crime? Obviously, I have writers. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Thank you, Mr. Writers, Governor. What I'm gonna do, I'll just order some destroyers. Doesn't matter. I just want to wait. Like, this is just a filament. I'm not actually... I will not be building destroyers. I'm just waiting until I get the like ship design, until I get technology for my cruisers, and then I'll start the production of on all of my shipyards and just cancel this. Just make sure to cancel. I could have actually ordered cruisers, right? And then just create a different design of cruisers, but better safe than sorry. If you're running the Machine Empire, it's way easier because Machine Empire's colony ships cost 400 and take a lot of time to build. So it's easier to actually manage the queue, and you're not like being pressed or pressured by like you have to keep in mind that you're building these ships, because if you just let them slip through, these ships are not optimal at all. Technically, I could have created like a special design, like the worst case scenario design, so if those ships get through the queue, I will still get destroyers that are okay-ish, because I guess these destroyers were, yeah, look at this, MSS now, that's not the way to go. But just making sure, like, if you're paying attention, that's not as hard to just put the ships down in the queue and then cancel them. Like, but first you need to order some ships that you need to produce, because if you cancel all these ships before, it will literally like just overflow the storage capacities anyway. Alright, 24. So far so good actually. Yeah, it's good. I will start increasing the amount of energy production, because I will need it later. Alright, these cruisers are absolutely lethal. These cruisers are absolute killers. And they cost only 450 a piece. Wow. Okay, now I can cancel to get some resources back. Okay, 10 here, 12 here, 12 here, 12 here, okay. I have ordered 38 cruisers so far. And it's here 26. And I'm making a cruiser every 3 months. I'm making a cruiser every 3 months, right? This feels good, to say the least. Alright, this process will be a little bit like repetitive, but you always come like... wait, no. This is what you always do. Shift managing the queue to save some alloys at the upkeep. I'm really curious what the result will be. I mean, the final result of my fleet power, but damn, these cruisers have the 2 hull upgrades. That's a lot. Oh wait, no, 1 hull upgrade. I never meant. Disregard what I just said. Not 2 hull upgrades. If I had cruisers with 2 hull upgrades, oh god, there would be no way I could just justify Necrophages not being OP, right? Damn it, actually I might not be... Oh, I'm not making it exactly. Look. The story repeats itself. Like, come on. Getting any additional unity would be so good. Oh, shall I do it? Can I actually fix it by just building... Can I fix it by just building another bureaucrat building? Huh? I wonder. Okay, let's check how fast did I get. 1, 2, 3. Huh. Actually, like... I guess, yeah. I guess if you get the colony centralization building, around here is 13 or 14, like the first or the second tech roll, you can actually... Or if you get... Yeah, another one. Like, if you get any unity buffs from here, like if you get the... if you get the ruler that boosts the production of unity, then you will be in really comfortable spot to actually finish supremacy in time. Also, if you get the force planet, your early producing facility will be filled up with pops earlier, and you get the upgrades. And you get the upgrade of main building faster, and basically you start producing unity faster as well. So a lot of stuff actually influences that. At this point of time, starting to buy some consumer goods is a good scenario, because you'll be running out of consumer goods eventually. And it's better to start like pre-buying them, so you do not put your stockpile too low. It's better to start buying 20 now than start buying 25 once you have like 400 consumer goods, and you also have to micro your fleets and do all kinds of stuff. Battle micro. Okay, this will put me to... Oh, I can actually use fleet subsidies. I guess, okay, I guess that's, I will be getting all the ships in time. Now the only issue I have is unity, right? I'm making 80. Probably make it, will I be able to make it? Well, I guess I will. I will actually finish, wait, will I finish supremacy at the end of year 29 or just first month of year 30? I wish I did it. I wish I did what I did with the bureaucrat building here, like a little bit earlier. That would guarantee that I'll get the supremacy in time, just for the guide, right? But it's quite, I mean, it's a little bit tough to keep talking all the time, because I kind of miss some timings. And, like, this is what happens when you miss some timings, when you focus on talking and playing at the same time. It would be easier to do some save game checkpoints, but this feels like the more usual way, like faction. Wait, will this faction give me some additional units I need? 81, 11 months. Wait, it will be like literally January year 30, huh? Lol. Okay, that's fine. Also, I think that I need to start pre-building some naval capacity, right? And technically at this point of time, yeah, I'm producing quite a lot of ships. I will not be pushing the maximum amount. I can start selling alloys. Anyway, you will have to. Sell alloys to upkeep your ships. So if you start doing it earlier, it means that you will have to click less later. And when you're running a deficit of energy or close to the deficit, it means you have to put more attention to the management, to like process of selling stuff. And this can lead to more mistakes, so better just start doing it in advance. Yeah, like 122. Like, what's the point of selling alloys right now? I can actually start doing it manually as well. Like the same applies to consumer goods here, and it would be nice to have, where is it? Synthetic crystals ready for the edict. I mean, the chances that you'll get attacked exactly year 30 and have the fight year 30, like start of year 30, are quite slim. I mean, not everyone attacks exactly on the clock, but there are still chances of this happening. So it's better to be ready and have a stockpile of rare resources to enable all the edicts in advance. Alright, here we go. 2 months, like literally, yeah, it will be January year 30. So technically there will be a really short period of time where the enemy can catch me off guard, right? If you're getting wards exactly year... Wait, no. Okay, this is absolutely perfect, look at this. Okay, it cannot be better than this. Finishing supremacy exactly year December 29, like, come on, mate. Nice. Nice. How many? Premises hidden run. Everything is fine. Here you see we're running some negatives, but that's fine. Wait, there's so many cruisers here, look. 68, 4 more. All of them must be experienced, right? Yeah, they are. This can be done real quick. I mean, there's sensor upgrades. 7.4. Okay, so at this point of time, let's pause the game for a second. I do not have all the edicts, right? But... Wait, do I have 26k? Yeah, I have 26k of cruisers. 24 plus 2.4, 26.4k, and that's without the Distinguished Admiralty, right? The problem is I pay a lot for the upkeep, but that's with Fleet Supremacy, so I can turn this off. So the way to go, the way to navigate from now, what is the difference between, let's say, clones? Clones can get the same amount of tech, right? The recent advancements, actually, yeah, 830, That's a really high number because I get a lot of anomalies. I was lucky with anomalies. I got like 3 to 4 anomalies that provided me with stored research. Clones can have the same amount of science almost if they are lucky with anomalies as well. However, clones will not have this. I'm buying 25 and I'm sitting in minus 16 deficit. This can actually fuel my empire for like how much? Like how many? Like 10 years? As for now, I just have to keep buying, make sure I'm buying, and that is it. So what can also be done in this case, let's say your enemy is also like, your enemy is hesitating, like, okay, what am I gonna do? The way to go is to build crew quarters, put your ships here, wait until you get the Distinguished Admiralty. Actually, I'll do it, right? I'll do it because we're not in a hurry. We're trying to get the build right. And actually, like, okay, please, game, just save it, okay? Just do not crash. This is the only stuff I hope for. There is this, and there is another approach. Like, I mean, not the approach, but the continuation of it. It's called, like, No Ascension Necro. Basically, I go for Grasp of the Void. Don't need this anymore. I can build additional star bases, build additional naval capacity, further increase the amount of fleets I have, and the amount of ships I have, stockpile my ships on the crew quarters, and just suffocate the enemy. If the enemy takes, like attacks into you, I mean, you're kind of fine, because you'll be fighting your territory. And on top of that, you have cruisers. And cruisers, okay, let me do this. Maybe I'll get the rare hulls. There's a chance, maybe. Cruisers scale. I mean, well, I didn't get it, but nano separators, let's go. Some additional technologies, let's go. It's possible because the upkeep, especially consumer good upkeep of necrophages, is not that high, right? Just look at it. Have you seen it? Like 75 energy, just that my ships are on the crew quarters, and also I can get fleet logisticians to further increase the amount of savings, right? And that is it. This is basically the build. This is basically the guide. There are a lot of stuff that can happen after this. There could have been some differences during the playthrough. Keep in mind, I was lucky with technologies, right? My tech rolls were on point. I got +1 tech alternative quite early. And I managed to actually, like, that was clutch. That's, like, actually the timing, like, if I started the build-up of this administrative offices, like, literally 20 seconds later, I would not make it exactly year 30. Now it was, like, pixel perfect. Also, my governor got the Ritus. It also helps quite a lot, like, one less pop here. It means more pops producing alloys. That is it. Well, I have talked about what's to do next. Like, you can suffocate the enemy. You can actually attack with this amount of ships. Like, okay, I'll just wait a little bit, get the Distinguished Admiralty. Technically, it's not even needed. You can go for mining guilds, increase the amount of minerals you're making, upgrade your early mega forges, and just keep producing ships, keep producing fleets, get to up like 300 naval capacity. This is what I did when I fought against... I fought in the qualifiers of the Aggressors tournament. I fought against 2 players here, 37. I wanted to attack them earlier, but I didn't get intel. And I fought against 61 cruiser and 46 destroyers. Imagine the amount of ships, right? I managed to survive only because of the scalability of Necros. And also I built a lot of star bases, as I just described, and put some naval capacity on it, like anchorages and stuff, because one of the biggest problems of fighting against 2 players, like strong opponents, is that they have a lot of naval capacity. And that's why if you manage to sustain your ships and do not pay too much, in the end you'll be the winner, especially if you have cruisers, because cruisers scale better. First of all, they have better defense slots. Cruisers have better hull upgrades. Like, they have a lot of hull points. Like, even one tier 1 hull upgrade for cruisers gives you 200-300 points, and destroyers with 2 hull upgrades, like 2 destroyers with 2 hull upgrades, only have 2,400. So you're almost on the level. And if you get an additional upgrade for cruisers, you'll be ahead in terms of, like, hull points per naval capacity. Plus you get an additional auxiliary fire control point. And cruisers, well, cruisers are just overall better against destroyers. Alright, let's say Distinguished Admiralty. Keep in mind, I wasn't building ships, right? So it's not like the biggest amount of fleets I could have gotten right now. Let's check it. 27, basically 28k, years 31. 6 more cruisers. Okay, let's calculate. It's 3.5k, 20, it was 20, wait, 28, right? Yeah, it's more than 30k of lead. Here it's 32, 31. But I was super lucky with the tax. Alright guys, that is it. Thank you for watching if you're still with me. Thank you for checking this guide. Please leave a comment or a like if you liked the content. Once again, if you didn't like, make sure to leave a dislike and click it twice to make it work, for sure. I'll see you next time. Tell me what I can improve in my guides, if you like the content or the format or not. And please make sure to share your opinion on, or like, your wish, which multiplayer guides I will cover next. Alright, see ya. Thank you for watching and bye-bye.